Meeting to order. First up is Appeal 22-1946, Stephen and Caitlin Tamburo. Good evening. Good evening. You'll need to be sworn in first, and then we'll read the exhibits.
Sure. Anyone? This one, okay, I can sit. I'm used to the stand. What's that? Sure. Yo. 1 Plymouth Lane, Yardley, PA. You're welcome.
All right, you want me to mark?
Then mark the exhibits.
All right, we have the application as A1, the site plans as A2, the impervious surface breakdown calculations and the stormwater management small project volume controls as A3. B1, proof of publication, B2, proof of posting, and B3, notice to the neighbors.
Okay, you can go ahead and tell us about your project and your request here.
Sure. So we're looking to put an in-ground pool in. With that being said, we would like to add a little extra concrete. We're looking for, instead of the contract 3-foot concrete around, we want to have 4 feet, but also one end of it 10 foot, just to have a little more area for entertainment, chairs, a patio set. And then the impervious surface looks like we're over by a little more than 1%. From the allowed 18%.
And you're mitigating that through the seepage bed?
Yes.
Jim, the calculations are good on the seepage bed?
Sounds good to me.
Okay, anybody on the board have questions?
Jim, can you unmute? Can you unmute for the virtual room?
Do you have a mic on your computer?
Can you hear me now? Okay. Yeah. So basically, our stormwater management ordinance requires that they control all of the increase in impervious surface. So they are controlling all of it. So that goes all the way back to the 15.6%. That's required by ordinance.
Thank you.
Okay, is there any public comment?
We have one public comment. Jonathan's on the line and we're bringing him in now. Jonathan is now in the room.
Jonathan, can you state your name and address and get sworn in?
Sure. Name is Jonathan Watson. I'm at 15 Highland Drive, Lower Makefield Township.
Jonathan, do you solemnly swear a testimony about to give will be the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
Go ahead with your statement or question.
I just wanted to voice my support for Steve and Caitlin this time. I think what they're doing is a great thing, and not only a great thing for them, but just what they've gone through thus far and adding on to their home. It's only adding value to their home and to the neighborhood. So I'm just here in support of Steve and Caitlin.
Okay, thank you.
No
Sounds
further
like someone
public
might have got
comment.
a pool membership.
Further comment?
I think we're looking for a motion at this point.
I'll make a motion to approve Appeal 22-1946 as submitted.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
Nope.
And you're fine with the way it's written with regard to the mitigation?
Yeah, the motion is fine. Although I always like to throw in the impervious surface area just so it's in writing.
We can add that. I had it and I lost it. Thank you.
Back down to 15.6.
So impervious coverage of
15.
impervious coverage of 19.3%. Mitigated to subject to approval from the town engineer.
Second,
I second.
any comment? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? We're done. Free to go.
Have a good evening. Enjoy your summer. Will do.
And next up is Appeal 22-1947 from Matthew and Ann Moyer. Okay, you just state your name for the record and get sworn in.
Matt Moyer.
You can explain what you're proposing here.
Let me,
Another.
Yes, do the, read in the.
let me just do the exhibits. I'm actually going to use your exhibit numbers just to make it a little bit easier and less confusing. We have A1, which shows, I guess, the setback of your house compared to other similarly situated homes. A2 is the aerial showing the amount of pools in the surrounding area. A3 is the plan showing all the tree plantings or proposed plantings. 4 is the proposed shed location, and 5 is a letter in support from one of your neighbors. A6 is going to be the application. A7, the site plans. B1, proof of publication. B2, proof of posting, and B3, notice to the neighbors.
And go ahead now.
I'm applying for impervious surface variance because I'd like to put a pool in. Current surface area is 25.1, and my request is approval to go 30.9%.
And you're mitigating it through,
Mitigating it through a seepage pit.
Okay.
Back to 25.1 starting point.
would you be, you'd be willing to drop it back to 30% instead of the 30.9? It's a little bit of a, you can, if you were to cut off a couple square feet here and there, you could probably get to that 30%.
I'm I'm willing to work with whatever we need to do to make that happen. That's why I did have a couple of exhibits with my the tree planting is significant. I've read through some minutes where I do know trees mean something here, and I'm putting a substantial amount of landscaping in to help additional remediation.
Yep, and that's great. It's a really nice project. I just the district is your zone is 18%. 30 getting over 30% to me is a little bit of excessive for the neighborhood. So I mean, you guys have your own opinion, but my opinion would be if you could get it to 30% or less, I would. I think it'd be a great project.
And if, just for your information, to drop it by 1%, one thing that could be done is the bed is 2 feet deep. If you just made it an extra 6 inches deeper, 2.5 feet deep, that would gain that extra 1% lower than what it currently handles.
That would mitigate an extra.
That would mitigate it. Right.
Thank you.
I would go even lower if we need to get it below the starting point. So I'd take it down to 24 or 23 if that helps.
That definitely would.
That would definitely help.
Because every bit of stormwater mitigation helps everybody in the community here. And
That's what I moved into. It's just a house with, a big driveway and a patio. So
Yep.
get it back to lower than where I started.
Yeah, you're in an area of the neighborhood that has runoff issues. I'd be open to supporting that.
So Matt, I'm a little confused. Are you hoping he takes back the proposed 30.91 to 30 and then also takes the mitigation lower, or is it a combination of both, or one or the other?
I would be one or the other. So I'd be comfortable if the new impervious was less than 30%, or if they added a little bit more to pull back the overall.
What would make more sense to you?
Seepage pit, go deeper on the pit to hold more water.
Okay. You're good with that?
I'm good with that. It's just.
yeah, I think more mitigation helps the
Yeah.
community in general. But are we looking for 23%, mitigate to 23%, or?
Well, Jim, if we added that foot, what do you think we could get it down to? Just
If
ballpark.
if you added that foot in depth down to 3 feet, I think you'd be down to about that 23%
That's good.
that you're looking for.
That works, right, Matt?
Yeah, you guys good with that?
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay, so just to clarify, from 2 feet to 3 feet.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and actually we could adjust and get you the exact numbers for that, but it's approximately 1 foot.
Okay.
Is there anything else you'd like to present before we put a public comment?
Yes, thank you. So the second part is the location of my shed. So my current shed is in, you look at the exhibit that I submitted, exhibit 4, A4.
Okay.
Currently back right corner, the red number 1 is where my shed's located. Technically 3 inches on my neighbor's property.
Not good.
No, which is why we do surveys. So I learned that it was on his yard. And my request is to have a variance so I can have a 5-foot setback instead of a 10-foot setback on the left-hand side of my property, which is my proposed location number 2. Which would be at the top of my driveway. I reviewed the plan with my neighbor, which is 5, that's John, who lives 844 DeKalb next door to me, which would be the house closest to where the proposed location of the shed is. They support that. And then back to A4, just as a precedent, 2 doors down, neighbor has a shed in the same location, essentially the same location that I'm proposing. The top of the driveway, he also has a pool.
One issue with that is that wasn't part of the public notice. So you could request a continuance and then the township could re-advertise the additional variance request. Because it's not in, I don't think it was even in the application.
It's not in the application.
Well, it wasn't. No, You're correct. As I read.
Yeah, so I would, yeah, so either you can, I think what makes the most sense, request a continuance, you could submit a revised application, which has both, that can get re-advertised, then we can have you back here. Shouldn't be too much of an issue once we do have you back here, since we've already resolved the other variance that's requested. And then the board can vote on all of those together. Otherwise, you would have to, you could get an approval tonight, but then you'd have to file a whole new application, and which I don't really think makes that much sense.
Yeah, just put this out. So what I'd like to do is be able to get an approval on the pool variance so that I can start the permitting process on that. So I can be swimming this summer. But I think I've talked with Jamie, and I understand the next meeting that I might be able to get onto is March 1st. So there's another month. So is it good get an approval on this, and then I'll.
Yeah, you can do that, but you're gonna have to pay, you're gonna have to pay for another application and go through that process again. So usually we don't do it just because it's, you know, you get dinged twice with two application fees. Unless Jim's in a good mood and wants to,
How big is the next meeting?
yeah, but you need enough time to advertise it.
So you get, well, that's 2 weeks to advertise. So, 30 days, he could be on the next meeting, right?
He could do March, no problem. Yeah, March would not be a problem.
Yeah, and I did discuss this with Mr. Moyer and explained exactly what Mr. Flager had said. And I think his idea was, as he had said, that if he can get this variance now, if you're inclined to grant that, and then later come back with the shed just for timing and understanding that there's no guarantee that the shed can go where he wants to go, because that's another hearing.
Is he going to end up paying more money doing it that way? Is it two separate submissions, or?
Yeah, but it's not, there will be a slight reduction in the fee because we already have the file set up. We have the owner's list. We have all the mechanisms in place to just go ahead and re-advertise. So it's just the cost of re-advertisement, the cost for the court reporter, and a little bit of administrative overhead.
So you're aware of that. If you do it two separate, you're going to pay more money versus it is a timing issue too. I understand that.
And it's for 18 months. I would like to get it.
Okay.
Just table that. I'll apply with whatever I need to do to apply for a variance for the shed.
You actually have a pool contractor that's going to do it this year? Oh, good for you.
He's waiting.
Don't want to ruin that.
I do.
Don't lose it.
Cool.
A long time.
All right. So
Is there any public comment?
No public comment.
Okay, then we'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve appeal number 22-1947, subject to reduction of impervious surface to 23%, subject to review and approval by the town engineer. Did you want to?
And if you may, if you just say for an impervious surface area of 30.91%,
Down to 23.
down to an effective impervious surface area.
So
Does that include the shed, the 30.91?
Yes, it would include the shed. That's been calculated.
Okay, so then he doesn't have to come back for,
Correct.
okay, good. Just making sure.
That was a good question.
so
Pay you the big bucks.
as Jim said, impervious surface of 30.91%, reduced to effective rate of 23%. Subject to review and approval by the town engineer.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. You're done. Well, till next month with the shed. All right.
Thanks.
So we are moving on to appeal 22-1948. and I see they're not present here. There we are. We're online. They're on remotely. So we were wondering about continuing this to next month so you could participate more.
No, thanks. I love you guys, but not quite that much.
Okay, so you'll need to be sworn in and then we'll do the exhibits.
You guys solemnly swear testimony about to give will be the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you.
We also have our engineer here, our pool contractor who knows more than I do.
Yeah,
Okay,
let's swear
sir,
him.
can you identify yourself?
Unmute, please.
You want Gary and I, Judy Reese, 969 Princess Drive.
No, the contractor just needs to unmute and identify himself.
My name is Charles Sudhop. The last letter of the last name is actually a P, as in Paul.
Charles, do you solemnly swear testimony about to give will be the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
All right, just gonna mark the exhibits quickly. Application is A1, site plans as A2. B1, proof of publication. B2, proof of posting. B3, notice to the neighbors. I'm just gonna state on the record, even though I don't believe it's an issue, that our firm used to represent Judy in her capacity as the prothonotary in the past. We're not voting on this, so I don't believe it's a conflict, but in the interest of full disclosure, putting that on the record.
Okay, so why don't you describe your project?
We are looking to put in an in-ground pool. We've worked with our contractor to move the pool in such a way to mitigate any type of water possibility. We've lived here 46 years. We've never had a water issue. And I believe our mitigation puts us back to 18% better than we are right now.
And Jim, have you reviewed all the numbers?
Yes, I have, and they are correct.
Cool. Excellent. I have no questions.
No questions.
And I have none too. So is there any public comment?
No public comment.
Okay, we'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to affirm appeal number 22-1948, taking impervious surface from 26% to effective 18% per the submitted plan.
And actually, it should be worded, approve it for an impervious surface of 26%, subject to mitigation to bring the effective impervious surface back to 18%.
So I'll make a motion to approve appeal number 22-1948 from an actual impervious surface of 26%. Yep. down to an effective impervious surface of 18%. Yes, Jim? Would someone like to second that?
Should we add subject to review and approval by the town engineer?
Sure.
Subject to review and approval by the town engineer, I second.
Any comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries and you're done. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Okay. What's up for next meeting? 15th.
We have an agenda?
I believe we have two matters that are continued from a prior meeting. I'm not sure, they may be continued again based on discussion with one of the applicants. I believe the one appeal will be continued. That was the one for Troilo up at the intersection of Langhorne Yardley and Edgewood Road. And the other one, I haven't heard from the applicant, but we'll have to follow up. And I'm not sure if there's any other ones.
All right, so we might have a meeting, we might not.
Just as a question here, given the Troilo submission, should we be planning on special meetings or blocking out an entire meeting to deal with it?
Well, I think basically the next meeting was going to be 2 applications, maybe a third, so that you had ample time to hear the application. But they're looking at making some modifications to it, which hopefully will make the plan more acceptable.
We can find out.
Yes.
Tune in to find out.
Okay, so I guess we're done for the day and this
A
meeting,
motion to adjourn.
motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Then we're done for the day.